Here's my question. I've listened and studied your teachings for over 2 years. I've raised my vibration and began practicing meditation twice a day for a year. I've tried various techniques like act as if, or imagine, or ignore it and do nothing, walk around with $100 in my pocket, and others. I'm not sure the energy is shifted. Is there something I'm missing? Am I blinded by all these techniques? I suppose I only need one that works for me. Any insight would be appreciated, Abraham. Most people, when they make a decision that they want to make an improvement in their life, like you, look for knowledge or tools in order to accomplish that improvement. And because that is the perspective of so many of our physical friends, we understand that for many, the path of least resistance is having a tool or a process or guidance about some action that you believe will help with that. And so to a certain extent, you're right to wonder if those actions or those action processes could be getting in the way. In other words, if the process just evokes more action from you, it may not help you. But if the process causes you to feel differently, it will help you. That's the point of everything that we present to you, to help you find perspectives, which are thoughts, which are vibrations, that help you align more to the point of view of your inner being, that therefore help you to feel better. So let's talk about some of the things that you've tried, and we'll clarify here how to get those things to actually help you. You talked about imagining what you desire. So we want to start this subject by reminding you of something really important, and that is that every subject, like this subject of the desire that you are imagining, it really is two subjects. It's like a stick with two very different ends on it. On one end is wanted, and on the other end is unwanted, or the absence of wanted. So let's say that you've decided to use the tool of imagination in order to deliberately create a wanted manifestation. We also want to say that the time that you most often think about using the tool of imagination, or scripting, or telling the story the way you want it to be, is often at a moment when you're aware that you don't have something that you want, when you're recognizing that it isn't working. And so if in that moment of feeling discouraged or worried or doubtful or fearful about something not going well, you decide to try to imagine it better, you don't accomplish improvement, because your imaging is starting from a feeling place of worry and so forth. That's when we say to you, you can't get there from here, meaning you can't get to the imagining that you desire from the vibrational place that's causing worry, because those vibrations are so very different. The vibration of happy and satisfied is very different from the vibration of worry or doubt or discouragement. You have to find a way to feel better first before you attempt imagination. Over time, we've offered some processes, more processes, that could help you with that. The focus wheel is a really good one. The basic premise of a focus wheel is to identify what you're wanting to accomplish, how you want to feel, or the subject that you want to feel better about. And then to find things that you already believe that are easy for you to think about that feel like that. So take a notebook, a piece of paper, and draw a large circle and think of it as your focus wheel. And in the center of that circle, write what you're going for, how you want to feel. You're not feeling it right now. You're aware you're not feeling it right now. That's why you're doing the focus wheel. So you would write, perhaps, I want to feel prosperity. I want to feel prosperous. And now, the way the process works is around the outer edge of that larger circle that you've drawn, you can write some short statements that enhance the statement that you've written in the center of your wheel. But if you write a statement that you don't feel, then it doesn't work. It's like the wheel in the playground that the other kids had spinning fast before you tried to get onto it. It just flung you off in the bushes. So you're looking for something you already believe about what you've written in the center of the wheel. You want to slow the wheel down enough that you can get on it. So the center of the wheel says, I want to feel prosperous. If you make a statement such as, I am prosperous, and you don't believe it, off in the bushes you go. If you make a statement such as, I will find a way, when the whole point of the focus wheel is that you feel that you haven't found the way, off in the bushes you go. But if you can find something that you already do feel prosperity around. I remember when I wanted such and such, and then I got it. Or, I remember when this money came to me unexpectedly, and how happy I felt about it. Or, I remember when I was given a raise in my wages at work. Or, I remember when I was really little how it felt when Aunt Ivy gave me $2 for my birthday. Or, I like the feeling of sitting and watching the sunrise and feeling the well-being of this planet. That's a sort of prosperity too, isn't it? Or, I have so many friends. That's prosperity too. If you feel that way, if you feel that you do have friends. Or, I like that food comes to me so easily through the grocery store or through the restaurants. There's abundance all around me. Or, I like it when things show up for me when I didn't know they were coming. Or, I have some money set aside that I can put towards something that I really want if I decide to. Or, I can get a better handle on the balance of my money in and out. While I may not be able to get more right now, I could spend less. I could focus more productively. Things like that. So as you enjoy the process of the focus wheel, doing it frequently on a variety of subjects, what you will begin to notice is that you actually do feel differently about the subject. You feel more prosperous, or you feel more optimistic. And now that you're feeling better, the imagery that you've been reaching for will come easily to you. And from that basis of feeling better, with this decision of now imagining, you'll feel much more satisfaction, and therefore you will experience much more productivity from your imagining. The process of meditation is such a wonderful process or tool because as you are able to quiet your mind, your vibration will rise. And when your vibration rises, you are in a more neutral place where ideas can flow to you because in the meditation, you've released resistance. So doubt isn't present, and worry isn't present, and fear isn't present. And when those vibrations that you could call beliefs, that we call resistant vibration, are not active within you, then there's room in the absence of that for you to receive the imagery of something that feels better. One thing just builds on another. The most effective meditation process is finding something to focus on that you don't think much about. A steady sound or the flicker of a flame. Just choose something. As we're recording here in Esther's kitchen, just now the refrigerator kicked in. And if she were meditating right now, she would focus on that for a bit because it's a steady sound that she can isolate from the other sounds that are around her in her environment. Something to focus on, something that doesn't have resistant thoughts around it to focus on, will help you quiet your mind. And in the absence of that thought, your vibration will rise. And as it does, you'll be in that receptive mode where true imagination can begin to flow for you. This is what we mean by getting out ahead of it. You find the feeling of what you desire. You find a way to feel better even before things have unfolded in your life as evidence of your vibrational shift. The vibrational shift becomes your greatest desire. And that vibrational shift is evidenced by your feeling better. A shift in your vibrational atmosphere, so to speak. And then that allows imagery, your imagination, to flow easily. And then when that imagination becomes more and more dominant and more the way you feel more and more of the time, your point of attraction changes and you're drawn to or guided to thoughts and experiences and others, leads and paths and fun and interesting things that take you right into the full-blown manifestation of your desires. And not only do you feel wonderful because you manifested your desire, but you felt good all along the way of your path of less resistance, or better said, your path of more allowing of what you want. You also talked about the viability of ignoring it and just doing nothing. But we want to remind you, action is not what your point of attraction is all about. In other words, if you are still feeling the absence of what you want, you aren't ignoring it. You aren't ignoring it vibrationally, and so nothing can change for you. The idea of ignoring something is completely unproductive unless you understand that you ignore one thing by focusing on something else. And the other thing that you are focusing on must cause a good feeling within you while you're focusing on it. And when that shift happens, then you are allowing into your experience the manifestation of it. You talked about walking around with $100 in your pocket, or the equivalent of that kind of money in your pocket, something that feels big enough that you could do something that you might really enjoy or appreciate with it. So you put this money into your wallet, and as you move through your day, as you notice things around you, you could consciously say, with this money that I have in my wallet, I could do that, or I could purchase that, or I could experience that if I really wanted to. I could go into that restaurant and order that meal, or I could purchase that item with this money, or I could have this experience. I could exchange this money for this experience that I like. And if you're doing that again and again and again, many, many times in this day, and the next day, and the next day, what begins to happen to you is that your feeling of prosperity begins to shift. Because it's not something that you are imagining, it's something that's real. You've got the money right here, right now, and you could, if you wanted to, exchange it for this thing that you want. But we encourage you to hold off on that exchange right now. Let the money be the seed of the vibration for much, 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 much more prosperity to come to you. This process works because after a while, if you do the process, the way you feel about money, the way you feel about your prosperity will change for sure. You feel different because you're vibrationally different. You're more aligned with what your inner being knows about your prosperity, and then you will attract differently. So when you ask if you may have been blinded by the processes, what you're sensing is this, and you're not alone in this. You've focused on the action of the processes, of the doing of the processes, rather than understanding that the whole point of the process is to evoke a different feeling within you. You have to feel prosperous to be prosperous. That's why the better it gets, the better it gets. Or the worse it gets, the worse it gets. Have fun with this.